Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sports and Other Things of the Sort. I'm Lucas Stein, and thank you for being here for episode 2. Today, we're diving into the world of card collecting, but specifically, we're going to discuss the why. Why do people collect cards? Why collect it all? Now, before we get into the real meat of this episode, I'm going to take a page out of Dr. Doofenshmirtz's book and give a little backstory as to why I wanted to talk about this today. A few months ago, me and my brother were going through these huge 30 to 40 gallon totes filled with boxes upon boxes of baseball cards that we've probably had for over 5 years now. When we were younger, they were just fun to look at, But we've started getting more into the trading and collecting aspects of it. We look up how much cards go for, how much they sell for, and with price tags of around $1,000 for some even higher, we were screaming at the top of our lungs sometimes. We're talking about these prices, and all of a sudden, one of my other brothers comes out and says, "Why would people spend that much money on a baseball card? It's only a piece of cardboard." So I very calmly screamed at my brother what I'm going to share with you today. In my head, there are two main groups of collectors: the stock collectors, as I'll call them, and the sentimental collectors. For the stock collectors, sports cards aren't meant to be kept, at least not kept forever. They're meant to be like a stock that you would buy at the stock exchange. See, stock collectors are willing to buy sports cards at higher prices than normal people, no offense, would buy them, because there's an ebb and a flow to it. You buy a card for $1,000, the person you bought from goes and buys more cards to collect and protect and let grow in value. And you who bought the card are keeping that card until it gains value as well. Stock collectors know that someone out there wants the card they have, and they also know that someone has the cards that they want. See, there's an ebb and a flow, a back and a forth. So the reason why stock collectors collect cards is because they want to make money. It's as simple as that. Now, sentimental collectors come in a couple different forms, I guess. The first form is the sentimental stock collector. So those are kind of mushed together because they will buy that card that cost $1,000 just to keep it in a case for the rest of their life. It still gains value, obviously, and it will eventually generate profit, but they won't see the profit because they kept it until their time was up. Sorry, that's a little morbid. Moving on, the second type is the free sentimental collector. These collectors didn't pay anything for their cards. They were given by an uncle or a parent, or in my case, my great-grandpa. You don't really plan on selling them because they hold memories to a loved one and you don't want to let go of them. And before I go on, there's nothing wrong with keeping cards that you get. You don't have to be an insane buyer and seller of sports cards, but on the flip side, there's nothing wrong with selling the cards you received from a loved one, especially if that loved one was into the hobby as well. Do what you want. All right, moving on. The final type is the I don't really care / these are my favorites sentimental collector. I'm putting these two together because 3 reasons are nicer than 4, I guess. So for the I don't really care collectors, they're going to be the ones that will just buy a pack of cards for the sole purpose of looking at them once, putting them in a binder, and never touching them again. Now, these are my favorite collectors, follow a similar path. They buy a pack of cards, look at them, and see their favorite players. A Tigers fan like me might get a card and say, "Oh my word, a Tarek Skubal. Wow, I remember when he won the Cy Young." They will then put them in a binder to keep forever because of the memories that fan has with that player. They don't plan on selling them because ultimately, for sentimental collectors, sports cards are a gateway to memories. And sometimes the best thing someone can do in a day is remember. Well, that does it for episode 2, the why of card collecting. This was a pretty short one compared to episode 1, but that's what you can expect from this podcast. Some longer episodes for when you're doing your chores or driving somewhere, and some shorter episodes for when you've got some spare time. Speaking of spare time, wherever you're listening to this podcast, could you click the follow button? I know, I'm selling out now, but hey, I didn't do it in the first episode, so now you owe me, right? Anyways, it's a simple thing, I promise. 2 easy steps. Go to the top of your screen and click the follow button, or click the subscribe button. See? Pretty simple. Anyways, I'm going to end this one here. Thank you guys so much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to come out for episode 3, The Finisher is Dying. See ya.